guys, welcome back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Sent.
I'm Sil.
And first and foremost, I'm sorry we've missed a week again. We are trying, y'all.
Life is happening.
It is. Surprise, surprise. Somebody's expecting. But anyway, I digress. But, mama be tired sometimes. So we are talking today about Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 15. Let's jump on in and talk about Jasmine and Airris. It's like
pulling teeth.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because I feel like we're seeing the same thing in different ways each and every week. I just don't see any growth. And it's sad, like, throw the towel in, just throw the towel. Not because, I like them both separately. And I know a lot of people don't like Airris. And I've had my issues with Airris, especially when he was talking like an F-boy earlier on in the season. But Airris is okay. He's grown on me a little bit. I don't think he's a terrible person. I just don't think that he's necessarily ready for marriage. Okay. And that doesn't make you a bad guy. Yeah. It just makes you on the wrong show. Do something else. And he's definitely not ready for marriage to someone who he finds less than like drop dead gorgeous. I think maybe that's part of it
what
too.
He thinks is
right. That's why I say who he finds drop dead gorgeous. Yeah. So it opens up with Devon Franklin talking to Jasmine. He's asking her, where she thinks they are. I feel like she was very open, very honest. She said she thinks that they're compatible. And he asked her about her having communicated her needs to Airris. And she says she's afraid to do that. She's afraid to ask him the hard question. She's afraid to ask him things like, and I'm embellishing, but I'm a woman. I understand where she is. She's afraid to ask him, where are we going? Yeah. Do we have a future? Yeah. What do you think about decision day? She doesn't want to hear the no. She doesn't want to hear what she thinks is apparent from his actions. So she would rather just kind of function in this potential bubble of delusion than to just have the rug snatched from underneath her and have all hope removed. And in essence, that's what she's communicating to Devon Franklin. And he's like, hey, look, even if it's the worst case scenario and he says the worst thing, that doesn't take away from who you are. And I think we as women, we need to hear that and internalize it over and over and over again, because I have seen so many women, especially non-married women. There's many women in relationships with people or want to be relationships with people where they're kind of fantasizing about what could be a reality, but they're not facing the reality of the situation. And I feel like that's where Jasmine is stuck. And it's so very unfortunate for her because she's actually in a marriage. And she's still in this place of somebody who's dating or dating hopeful to a man. And Airris is just not going to commit to her in the way that she needs him to.
No, absolutely not. Airris, I won't say he couldn't care less, but it's pretty close to that. She doesn't, first of all, like she said, she doesn't feel safe to communicate any of her feelings to him. And one of the things that I can remember talking with a friend of mine, that him and his wife were having some issues in their marriage. And it started off really, really bad, but it eventually got better after some years. And they were talking, and she shared something with him that she had never shared before. And so his response was, well, how long have you felt like that? And so she was like, I felt like that for years. And so he was like, well, why didn't you tell me? Yeah. And she was just like, well, because you weren't safe. Now we have a better relationship, and now you're safe, and I feel like I can share with you. And so I think it's some of that with her obviously she has learned some behaviors as far as not knowing how to conflict resolve and things of that sort.
Yeah.
But it's also, she doesn't feel safe with him. She doesn't know where she stands, and she don't want to actually open up that whole box and then allow him to hurt her some more.
Yeah, and have to face the reality of that situation. And she talked about her family during a time period, I think she said it was 3 years, that she was being bullied at school because she switched schools and she just didn't fit in, etc. Her family never knew that she was going through this. I think that's sometimes, like, you don't want to hurt your family to know that you're being hurt. Yeah. So she was protecting them and, you know, not wanting to face that situation with her family, and who knows how they're going to deal with it. And is she going to feel worse if they come up to school? You know, it just creates a whole new, it opens up a whole new can of worms, so to speak. So better that I just internalize this and deal with it myself. So going forward into relationships, better that I just internalize whatever it is that's going on, try to sweep it under the rug. Yeah, he hurt my feelings a little bit when he said he wasn't attracted to me, but at least if I stick my head in the dirt, I don't have to deal with this anymore. Yeah. And it's not helpful.
No.
In this situation. No, and it's actually, I think, to some extent more off-putting to Airris, because he said on at least 2 different occasions, he likes women who are a little bit more assertive. Someone who's going to, I think he said in the after party, check him or put him in his place, and that's attractive to him. And she's the opposite of that. Yeah. So in her not speaking up for herself, she's also not doing one thing that would turn on her partner.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
Yeah. So Airris, when he gets an opportunity to talk to Devon Franklin, then Devon Franklin asks him, you know, all about his job, something that he knows that he's passionate about. Yeah. And Airris is able to talk all about that and to say that, you know, he puts his full effort into his job, which of course it was a setup for Devon Franklin to be like, okay, are you putting that same effort into your marriage? No, he's not. He can admit that. And he's like, well, you know, I can't lose my job. You know, that's how I live. That's my livelihood, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas if this relationship doesn't work out, I could just move on. Yeah. And I think that's his approach. He's not definitely approaching this like it's a marriage. He's approaching it like it's just any other dating relationship. It's like he's going on a long blind date. Exactly. With somebody, and he's not just not working out.
Exactly. Like when he told Jasmine the story of how him in past relationships, past scenarios, it was nothing for him to just up and leave. Yeah. And so again, that's not speaking to her security. That's not making her feel safe. And we talked about it with Shaq and Kirsten when I said that Shaq was basically violating a law of marriage. Guess who's also violating the same law of marriage? Airris.
Yeah, and I don't think he cares because I don't think he can feasibly see this as a marriage. It's kind of like me. Like, I don't see these as real marriages either, but I do feel like they should be treated with greater regard than what he treats it with. I think when he sat down and told Jasmine he was closer to being checked out at one point, and he's trying, like, I think this was at their 1 month anniversary. He's half checked out already. And to be honest, if you're half checked out, you're checked out because you can't half it right now. Like, this is a time when you need to be putting in your full effort, and he doesn't have the heart for it because he's not into her. And so that's tough for him. Yeah. Devon Franklin asked him what he would need, you know, to have happen for this to like work out for them. And he's saying he needs a deeper connection. He needs Jasmine to be more open. And then he talks about the challenges that he has with just like intimacy, and not sexual intimacy, just intimacy in general, like kissing her or hugging her or things like that. He's like, yeah, sometimes I kiss her when I come in the door. Sometimes I'm like, what's up? Like, we boys, you know, and for them, that's not working out. Jasmine needs more to that. He needs more to that. That may work for some people, but it's not working for them. It's not certainly drawing them any closer together. He says that him revealing that he wasn't attracted to her kind of put them at an awkward spot, which I get it. Him saying that and her bringing it up, like we talked about week after week after week, saying, well, I'm attracted to him, but he's not attracted to me, over and over again. It makes it an even bigger issue.
Yeah.
Than, I mean, I can't minimize that for her because I don't know exactly how that feels, but I feel like her harping on it every single conversation about them did make it a bigger issue than maybe it had to be. And so he's like, now every intimate interaction is kind of awkward for him.
Yeah.
It feels pressured probably and very unnatural. And actually, was this Dr. Pepper? I don't think this was Devon Franklin talking to them about that. Because wasn't she the one who was advising him to set...
Yeah. Later on. Yeah. Later
that was the worst advice. Y'all let me know what you think about being advised to set your calendar.
Yeah, your phone, your calendar.
To message someone to remind them that you're thinking about them. That was toward the end. But so I'm getting it out of order, but y'all get me. Like, that was the worst advice I've ever heard. I don't want you, if you got to set a timer to remember to ask me how I'm doing, just don't ask me how I'm doing. Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to the other conversation that they were having. And it was like, kind of like listening to Airris. And when Airris sat down with Devon, and he's saying, well, like I can't be taller. I can't change, who I am or how I am or whatever. And so I really wanted to hear him kind of dig into that part a little bit more. What exactly is your hang up? What is it?
But I mean, do you feel like that's really important? Because if he goes ahead and he says, well, I don't like her smile, or I truly, I don't like that she's taller than me or as tall as me or something like that. What does that benefit?
It doesn't benefit, but at least it gets it out. Because it's just like, is it something, for instance, if it is her smile, people get braces every day, so if that's your only thing, that's something that could be tweaked. That's something that could be, remedied if that's your thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
to be fair to him, though, he's given a lot of things. That may be one of them, and that may be one that he hasn't spoken because it may seem like it's mean, and it will be hurtful unnecessarily so. But he has at least said that her figure is not attractive to him in terms of her being a little too thin. And he said that, like, her just overall vibe, like, she doesn't have like the style, or I think he might even say a swag that he's looking for. And sometimes that's enough. Like, it's a personality thing where it's like maybe she's dull to him or dry, or like she said, maybe she's too proper or something like that. And he's looking for somebody who's a little more edgy. So he has given some things. And I don't think it necessarily has to be one big thing. I think it can be like a conglomerate of things that are just kind of adding up to like, this person just isn't my speed. Okay. So I don't want to take away, like, be like, no, it can't be that. It can't be that. It can't be that. Like, we know what it is, because we don't, I think for him, it's a multitude of things, and it's not there for him.
It's not there.
So that's it. Of course, I want to ask about the dancing. The cowboy line dancing or whatever it was that they were doing. It was so unfortunate that he was the one that the instructor selected to dance with, because it did look bad to me, honestly. And I do try to give situations like that the benefit of the doubt. But they were all learning the line dance. Nobody was dancing together. They were learning it. It looked really cute and fun. Then the couple started dancing together. Every husband is dancing with his wife. And then the instructor grabs Airris by the hand and kind of guides him to dance with her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, man, like of all people, why would you pick Airris?
Yeah.
And poor Jasmine is standing there looking like, really? And I understood her walking away from that situation. Airris then later said that he felt like she caused a scene and like maybe she shouldn't have. I didn't feel like it was that big of a scene. First of all, it wasn't like it was in a big public place. Like it was just those guys there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're pretty familiar with one another. How much of a scene could it be? She walked out. He walked out after her. He apologized. And they went home and he slept on the couch.
Wasn't nothing going on in the bedroom
anyway,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Unless they've been lying to us too.
Yeah. I would have been probably upset too. I bet you one thing. I bet you that instructor. I bet you Married at First Sight won't hire her again. I bet you her little career with Married at First Sight is over. I bet you they're like, you can go to Nashville 10 out of 10 times, and I bet you they won't have her on there. So I think she done finished herself.
I don't know. I think they like the drama. Honestly, I don't think that she did anything inappropriate. I just feel like that just happened to be the wrong couple have that happen. I feel like if it had happened to anybody else, anybody else's husband there, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Gina wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
Kirsten probably wouldn't have cared. And I feel like Kirsten is confident enough in herself that she would have took her husband back if she wanted him.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it would have been a big deal.
Nicole
would have. You think she would have had it? She is very insecure.
Goodness,
She's very insecure. But I think, honestly, I think Chris probably would have had the foresight not to do it. Because he's already managing her emotions like she's a very needy child.
Yeah.
So he probably would have just been like, no, I'm not dancing with you. Because I don't want to pay the price for this with my wife. She'll be like, talking about this for the next 7 years.
Yeah, I don't know, but the instructor, I would say I'm of two minds on this one. I would say that first off, maybe she did like Airris, and maybe she did kind of like have a little sense of some dissension between the two. So maybe she's like, hey, you know, I'm gonna do my best to shoot my shot, but I'm kind of on the slide. It could have been that, or it just could have been that you know, I want to dance too.
I mean, she was dancing with them when they were doing the line dance.
It could have been something to say, or it could have been like, maybe I'm a third mind on this, or it could have been like Airris said, maybe like, I'm gonna show you some moves because I saw you were struggling out.
I think, and they other couples were confirming that he was all off.
Okay.
It didn't look like he was doing great with it.
Yeah.
It looked like he wanted to dance like, you know, he was in the club.
Yeah.
Not him like, no, pumpkin. There's steps to this. You can't just no. So yeah, I think he wasn't following the right steps.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, forget it. If you're going to freestyle dance like this, then I freestyle dance with you. I don't know. But I didn't take her to be doing anything necessarily underhanded or wrong.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was wrong place, wrong couple, right? You know, just bad timing.
All the way around.
And I felt bad for her about that.
Well, I think Airris, at the end of the day, he's so disconnected from Jasmine at this point that he couldn't have. He was not able to kind of like see where this thing could like ultimately go because he's not connected to her and her feelings and things of that sort. So I'm gonna go dance. Why not?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like you'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't she be okay?
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not connected to her like that, and I don't know her ins and outs. I don't know what moves her, what doesn't move her. I haven't even really tried to find out, and I'm so disconnected from her and this marriage and how you feel and where we're moving, how we move, not moving. It was like neither here nor there for him.
Yeah. So, I mean, I felt like it was important because, as we said, Dr. Pepper got to them after that incident, and you know, in her asking questions, she asks the hard question that Jasmine didn't want to ask, and that she probably didn't want to have asked for her by Dr. Pepper. You know, I think it was a very much cliffhanger type moment when Dr. Pepper is like, okay, so we're not here to tread water. What do you guys want to do? Are we moving forward with this relationship, or not, essentially. And if Jasmine had the guts, she could have asked that question herself. She could have asked it this week, last week, the week before, all throughout.
Yeah.
But she didn't want to do that because she didn't want to hear the answer. Now, here's the interesting thing. I don't feel like Airris was honest in his answer. I don't think he's a people pleaser, but I also don't think he's like the type of person who likes to just disappoint someone in their face. So he said that there was still a chance. There was still hope for the marriage. And I don't think so. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know what you think. But I think if he was being honest with Dr. Pepper and with Jasmine, he would have said no. That, I like her as a person. I feel like she's a good person. She has a good heart. Everything good that he's said about her up until this point. But in terms of us, like, actually staying married and making a go at it, I just don't see it.
Yeah, that was a $25,000 question right there. And you're right. I at this particular point, I kind of wish he would have said no as well.
I do too. But it would have broke her little heart. But I wish he had been honest.
It would have been, I think, in some regards, a mercy thing. Why continue to drag you on when I know myself and I know I'm not going to be able to give any more effort than what I am. And at the end of this 8-week period, I'm definitely going to say no. Nothing's going to change my mind about this.
I mean, they only got like 10 more days. He's probably like, whatever.
Yeah.
We might as well just finish it out. But I don't think he was honest. But if you paid attention, Jasmine's face illuminated.
It did.
With the fact that he didn't crush her in that moment.
Yeah.
She and I didn't know whether to celebrate for her or to cry inside, because it's just delaying the inevitable.
Exactly. He gave her
to be honest. Yeah, it gave her 10 more days of muddling through this situation. But to see the joy in her face, she was like, yeah, I needed to hear that tonight. That's what I wanted. And I'm like, man, I feel like he helped her stay in her delusional bubble. And I feel like men do that all the time. And Airris probably does that all the time. He seems like the person who has practice in leading women on. Now, in this situation, I don't necessarily think he wanted to lead her on per se. I just think he's gotten used to not playing the bad guy and snatching the rug out. And he wasn't going to do it to her, and he wasn't going to do it to her on national TV.
Yeah.
So
maybe, possibly. But, I wanted to also go, talk about a little bit about the whole thing as far as when she was saying set your alarm or whatever. That's some of the worst advice I've ever heard of in my life, and she's supposed to be an expert. First of all, from a man's standpoint, women, please don't give us direct things of what you want like that. I mean, let us figure some things out, okay? So if it's, you know what, you're not communicating enough with me, and I would like to see some more communication. Just leave it at that, you know, and allow us to kind of like figure that part out, but don't give the specifics. Text me at 2:00 every day and check on me at 4:00 every day or whatever the case may be. I want flowers. So every Wednesday you get, a rose or something like that. So, give us something general, and then allow us to kind of like figure out the rest and see how we're going to move with it. But nothing, set your alarm. I was like, how much are they paying her to give this stellar advice? I mean, come on. So anyway, I just wanted to
I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. That blew me away. I'm like, Dr. Pepper, go ahead and retire, girl. It's time to collect them retirement benefits. Yes. It's over. So
yeah.
Anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts. If you thought that was reasonable advice, I would love to banter with you a little bit. Yeah. But drop those comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye.